My name is Caroline from Manchester. I am recording this today off YouTube because I'm not copywriting, I'm paying attention, YouTube. How dare they tell me I was copywriting one day and they get rid of my videos and rid of my YouTube channel. Anyway, more importantly,
as you know, the whole of Western world is falling apart. I've played you so many videos, I don't even know where to begin, but every week, pretty much every second day, we get new videos that come out of Europe. But it is happening in Australia as well, and the frequency of these videos is gaining momentum. How long is this? Obviously, I made a separate video on this. This happened last year. I can't play you the video. I'll include the links to all of these videos that I'm about to show you in description.
Not me talking now.
The 16-year-old white teenager Declan was followed into his murder house by Sudanese youth who stabbed him 56 times and 66 times blunt force injuries. This video is absolutely horrific. Look at this. They're just beating him up, and he died. And one of the guys couldn't even be jailed because he was too young to be deemed responsible for murder. Okay, that was it. Look at this, another one. At 3 a.m. Saturday, this Saturday, just a couple of days ago. Look at this. Watching this? Home invasions have become so common in Melbourne. They've become so common, and without fail, almost every single time, I'd say 95% of the time, it's the Africans. So at 3 a.m. Saturday, 4 men of African appearance smashed into a defenseless 76-year-old man's home, leaving blood smeared across the walls before stealing his car, just for a car. An elderly Australian traumatized in his own bed.
Australia.
There it is. Glen Waverley is a nice area. It's a nice house. But Australia's no longer Australia, guys. And
Australia's no longer Australia. England's no longer England. It's happening
on a scale that nobody saw it coming. I did. You're supposed to feel safe. And I've said this before. Even at the peak of our gangland warfare, even competing gangland members would not break into people's houses. They would wait for the rival to come out, and they'll either do drive-by shooting, or they will wait for their target to come out of their house, and then they will murder him. But this is a non-Australian phenomenon. These people, again, because they're African, they bring different sets of values. They break into your houses. Our flimsy houses, I don't know if people know, most Europeans wouldn't understand that. We don't have bars in our windows. We have very flimsy doors. Very flimsy
Well, the
windows.
one thing is, if they do
when you go to East London, when you go through Paris or something, you see people have barricaded their houses. They got bars, skinny bars going through the windows. We don't have any of that. Any of that. Why? Because we didn't have the culture of people breaking into our houses. But, dare I say, we brought in people from savage cultures who don't see anything wrong with breaking into people's houses. And it's not just the houses. Look at this. This is
breaking into someone's home, mate. They're killing, murdering, slaughtering someone. I mean, alright, break in and selling.
Arrested at Flinders Street
you don't have to murder me as well.
Melbourne.
You don't have to murder us.
Victoria last night was 6 machetes.
Not murdering me now.
We will never know peace again in Australia without
reminding. It's talking to YouTube.
She's right. Look at this. All foreigners. None of them are on.
This is in Australia.
There was another video. This is in Somalia, guys. Look at this. Full-on warfare. Look at that. Stabbing each other, slicing, hacking each other.
Is that in London or
this is
Australia?
Melbourne. This is Flinders Street Station.
Oh, right. In Australia, I think, yeah. Wow.
It wasn't like this,
guys. It's like that in London.
This wasn't like this. I'm not being nostalgic.
It's like that in Manchester. I can't go out.
This never used to happen.
But guess what? Anymore.
This is not where our misfortunes end, okay? So we know these African gangs have ruined Melbourne. Sydney has got a different problem.
At the moment,
I haven't seen as many African gangland problems there. There's other kind of problems, social Muslim Islamist problems over there. But in Melbourne, it's all African youth-related gangland problems. But it's going to get worse. You know why? Because Australia's worst Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, signed this deal. The EU-Australia visa-free for up to 4 years deal, free trade agreement deal. Remember this? the EU and
All I
Australia
can
have
say is
signed
all
a
the
free
people
trade
around the
agreement
world have to get their
security
own
deal,
governments
which
down,
means
burn the government
Europeans
parliaments
would
down
be
to
able to
ground.
come to Australia for up to 4 years very easily. Okay?
Not
You'd be
talking
thinking, oh, we're
people,
going to have nice
people's homes,
Swedish
talking
blonde
the
women
parliaments.
gracing our shores. No. Norwegian
Well,
people
I
are
don't know any
coming.
other
Dutch
way
people
to
are
say it all
coming.
because
No.
inside the
So
rules,
it's going to be
obviously,
these Europeans.
that goes down
Look at
to the
these
ground
new
or it's
Europeans.
like.
This is Spain. Spain, if you remember,
Yeah,
their
used to
pathetic
be
Prime
nice,
Minister,
but I can't go
Peter
on holiday
Sanchez,
and I'm not
legalized
well, I
half a
can't
million
afford to.
illegals. Half a
What?
million illegals.
Because they've
Mostly
made
Africans,
tractors
a
here,
lot
so
of
we're
sub-Saharan
not
Africans,
so
North
poor and
Africans.
trapped.
He's legalized them. And this is what's happening on the streets of Spain. We think Germany, France, Belgium,
maybe have to
all of
be
those
aware.
countries are pretty bad, don't get me wrong. But I am seeing
For me
more
to
of these
get out
videos
of
coming out of Spain than any other
Because I
country.
don't want to be in
And why
England
is that?
anymore. I don't
Because
feel like I want
half
to
a
be.
million illegals have been legalized. As a result, another
It's not safe
million
anymore. Not in England,
Africans
not what,
have
I can't walk down the street, it's
flooded
not safe.
Spain. Because when you reward
Bad behaviour.
criminality, what happens? Crime goes up.
And that's King Charles
at
has
this.
been rewarding that. King Charles and all the
Look
government
at
and
this
the
guy.
parliament.
Not
Stabbing
a
to death.
Spaniard, not a Spaniard, coming after this Spaniard with a dog. I don't know why he doesn't
'cause he
unleash
don't
his
like
dog.
the dog.
I don't know.
He does
What's
not like
this?
the dog.
He just goes
But it's a
after
good
him.
job he has got a dog with him.
Look at
He
him
will
kicking the
kick the
dog.
dog.
He's
Yeah, get
punching
out.
him.
Get the dog. Let go of the
Look.
dog.
Just
Why
unleash
has he
your dog,
done
bro.
that? Why has he
Unleash
not
your
let
dog.
go?
Look, the
Oh
dog
my
wants to
goodness.
bite him.
Let
And he
go
kicks
of the
him.
dog and
The
run.
dog can look after him himself.
Yeah, I was going
Look
to
at
say,
this.
let go of the dog and leave him
All these
with
other
the dog
Spaniards are just watching.
and run.
So these are the kind of Spaniards
There you
who
go.
will be coming to Australia.
And these are the
These are the
fucking people that's
Europeans
coming on boats
that
from
will be
England
coming
as we're
to
speaking
Australia.
as well. Yeah,
As
well,
if
coming
we
to
are
Australia,
already
they're coming
not
to England.
enriched enough
They're
with
already in
African
England.
culture, we're going to get more of that. And if you say something, you're a racist. I'm saying it, I'm taking my chances.
Well, I'm saying
I'm
it and I'm
expecting a
taking
knock
my
on the door.
chances. I
It's
don't
going to happen
care.
at some point.
I want
They
to get
just
out,
arrested
mate.
someone in the
What
UK
to do with
again
me colour?
for
Or not being
reporting
any
on a
outlaw.
crime
I've
where
never
a
been
British
racist in
woman
my life to
was getting
anyone.
harassed
I never
by
harass
migrants.
anybody.
She went to the police. They didn't pay any attention. They said no. And if you go to the press, then you will be
That's why
charged
I
with inciting
spoke
racial
to
hatred. So
my
she didn't pay any
anger
attention. She went to the
rather
citizen
than taking it
journalist.
out
He reported
on
on it
people.
on Twitter or Facebook. He wasn't even
My anger's
wasn't
towards
even
the
a
fucking
mainstream
king and
journalist
I
or anything.
don't care.
So a citizen
King
journalist.
Charles.
And they just arrested him. So I don't know.
And
So
I
it
have
can
a
happen
right.
to me too.
I have a
I'd
right
rather
to
be
be
standing
angry
on my
with
feet
King
than on my
Charles.
knees. It's going
I
to
have
happen.
a
I
right
don't know.
to say what I'm
This
saying
two-tier
about
policing is
that
coming to
person.
Australia
Yes,
soon.
I do.
It's going to happen.
He's
You
failing
will
our
see
country.
people. We will
Well, he's
start getting
failing
arrested.
England.
It's going to happen.
I mean, I can't speak for
Soon. I don't
Australia,
know
but
if
he's
they're going to
failing
go
England
after
and your
ordinary
they're your
people on
royals.
social media.
Governments are
We
failing
don't have
them.
we don't have a big
And
following,
I'm
or
going to
they're
say,
going to
but
come after
the
head of the
like I'm
snake,
telling
as
the
they probably
English
see
and
me,
the Irish,
or
please
people
calm
like the
down with
activists
him
like Drew
and get
or
something
Abby
bigger going.
or me. Abby's been
Around
arrested
the
a few
world.
times
All
before,
people
but
from
Abby's
the
not one.
lands need, like,
So
I'm going to have to
I
go out
don't
and
know
do
which
what
way
I'm
it's going to go,
saying
but
as
guys,
well.
we need to do something
But
about
I'm
it.
not going out into
We
any sort
cannot
of,
let them
not
keep
until it's the
ramming
right
their
day,
agendas down our
the right
throats
day of the right
without
battle.
resistance. At least
When
least
we're
the people
marching to
of
Buckingham Palace
Britain
and
are protesting
Westminster
almost
to
on a daily
burn it down
basis.
and I'll march.
We're not even doing that. We're not even doing that. I know Pauline
But
Hanson
until that
is
day, I'm not
rising,
going and doing anything
and
else.
I know people are awakening. I know people are waking up.
I don't
And
want to get
we
involved
need
with
to get a
any
political
of that.
solution to every problem.
Although
I'm not
I know there's
asking
lots
to
of problems
riot.
here. Like, look, can you
But
hear?
we
This
need
is
to
off
protest. We
YouTube.
need to double down
Yeah,
on our
we do
efforts
need to
because this
protest, but
thing
we
that
need to
is
go to
happening in the suburbs
what
of
I'm
Melbourne
saying,
is
the
going
protests
to
are not
spill over to other
big. They're not.
cities as well.
They're not
It's
sending
gonna happen
enough
everywhere.
messages to the government.
And they're not going to
We need
change
to
course
send a real
because
good message to
they
the
are
government.
drowning in
And
their
sorry,
ideological
here
dogma.
is going to be
They
Buckingham Palace in
believe
Westminster.
they are the
and
righteous
maybe
ones and
London's
we are
bridge
the
is
wrong
going to be
ones.
burning down once again. And there might be Guy
It's not going
Fawkes
to
there.
stop.
So maybe, you know, it's getting worse, isn't it? Every freaking day now it's getting worse. It's just getting worse and fucking worse and worse and worse. Nothing is going to fucking change. John Wilson. I just don't. I get it, but I just don't see all my point in this. I get the process, but I don't see it. Point in it is not. expensive enough. Why is everything 2 days, 1 day ago?
I want to talk to you about something quite specific, which is the asymmetry of warfare.
You're recognizing that you're not capable of engaging in what we might call maneuver warfare or conventional warfare. So you start to look at the weaknesses that your more powerful opponent has. When you're fighting a country for which public opinion matters, then that's what you try to go after.
America are hamstrung by their own different standard that Iran doesn't have.
One of the things that they understand about the West is we have a very low threshold for civilian casualties. And here's the part that needs to be properly understood. Imagine a scenario. A force like Hamas is deliberately arming a 14-year-old with an AK-47. Bullets are coming at me. They're hitting my guys. So we return fire into that window. We have violated nothing within the spirit of the Geneva Convention. You know who has? But as soon as that boy gets killed as a result of us returning fire, right now all of a sudden, we killed a child. You created an incentive structure.
Why do we still go along with it?
I mean, there are plenty of people that were born in the West, raised in the West, that believe that the West is inherently evil. I should make it terrifying for you to engage as a terrorist. We don't do that.
Nick Freitas,
Yes.
you are, of course, military veteran, a Green Beret veteran, and you served America for well over 20 years. I want to talk to you about something quite specific, which is the asymmetry of warfare. And this isn't just happening as we're watching the Iran war unfold, where even though the Americans and Israelis have defeated the Iranian Navy, massively degraded their military capability, the missile capabilities, the high command is like wiped out and scattered across the country, and yet somehow they haven't surrendered, and they have America in this awkward position where America have these other things to be concerned about.
I don't know about that one. Sorry.
No spin, no bias, no censorship. I'm Dan Wootton. This is Outspoken episode number 513. And breaking right now, British authorities and the bunker government of Slippery Starmer brace
Bunker
for a
government.
weekend of further unrest, with enough is enough protests scheduled to begin in English cities in just a few hours, with protesters expected to gather in Birmingham, Bristol, London, Manchester, Newcastle and Southampton. That follows an extraordinary 3 days of protests in Belfast, which resulted in another night of difficulties in the Northern Irish city, which is on fire after that migrant attempted to behead a local man.
You don't know why the police over here don't use them water cannons when they do it in England. And, well, when they did it in France and Belgium and Germany, why didn't they use the water cannons then in France and Germany?
In Scotland, anti-immigration protesters continued to defy authorities and the SNP government last night. But anger has been sparked further, especially in Northern Ireland, after a woman believed to be Africa mocked the
think on my left
beheading bid
It's going to have to
of
get
Stephen
some fucking
Ogilvy by the
pizza
Sudanese migrant Heidi Aladi,
and Poland
sparking
and see
an
if I can get
arrest.
some help off them. To get out of England, to get their visa.
Look! Oh my god.
What? Evilness,
So
man,
we
what
got
is
migrants
that?
now celebrating the attempted beheading of that innocent Irish man, with one African woman being recorded reenacting the attack and mimicking the stabbing
Stupid
motions.
woman. Why
Yet
don't
the MSM continues to gaslight the British
Wow.
public that mass deportations are
Gaslighting
just
does-
not possible.
Yeah.
You can't suddenly tell people who've got a perfect legal right to be here that, oh, we're changing the rules now, so you'll have to
Yeah,
go.
we've got
I mean,
perfect right
you
to
cannot
be
do
here,
that.
legal right to be
Well, you could do that, but is that really the kind of country you want to live in?
Yes.
Brave voices are fighting back.
We don't have no rights to be here
riots.
because
There was no
they don't
riot.
have
There
no
was a house that was
ancestry, they do
being
not have
burnt
mothers
down.
and
There was
grandmas
no
that
riots.
roam
The
on the
police
island.
even-
So therefore, they ain't British, they ain't English, they don't have a
a
right
little bit of their 2020 moment
to
now,
be here.
meaning like They're having issues with migration. They're having issues with speech. They're having a lot of protests. There's dueling protests.
Did your father ever try and behead anyone?
What a mental thing to say.
No, it's not a mental thing to say. People, my husband and your father, they came in there, they are members of this country and they contribute to this country.
So after all the latest in my digest, the Superstar panel are here. Conservative social media sensations, Steph the Alternate, and Based and Bougie. Also coming up on the show today, Tommy Robinson and Bobby Singh have gone to war over the Sikhs' despicable comments online about Henry Novak. Suggestions Nigel Farage could quit before the next election as Reform UK leader, as Restore Britain continues its Mayfield election surge, and King Charles heckled over Henry Novak and Slippery Summer as the anger of ordinary Brits spills over onto the streets. I'll show you the extraordinary footage. Then in the Royal Uncancelled After Show over on Substack, Prince Harry continues to shamefully bully the King into a public royal reunion with Meghan Markle next month. We'll have Lady Campbell here to review all that's over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. Over 50,000 of you have already voted for the worst Britain in the world this week. There is still time. This is when we put your Union jackasses from across the week head to head. On Monday, Calamity Lammy. Tuesday, Mad Miliband. Wednesday, Gary Neville. Thursday, Yvette Cooper. Get voting now. I'll read out your best comments at the end of today's show. But now, let's go.
British DNA. They're not English, they're British.
Slippery Summer is now in his bunker. This is like the final days of Hitler during World War II. The rats are deserting the sinking ship. Even his wife has gone. And the protests get closer and closer to his door at number 10. My contact's prediction that he might have to be helicoptered out of Downing Street for his own safety becomes closer to being a reality by the day. Tonight, Enough is Enough protests are expected to reach the mainland with demonstrations planned in Birmingham, Bristol, London, Manchester, Newcastle and Southampton under the banner of England Stands with Ulster. But disorder was seen in Belfast again overnight for the third day in a row after the attempted beheading of Stephen Ogilvie by the Sudanese migrant Hadi Aladi.
I'm going to say, mate, we're too soft.
These scenes, which you can see here, shame Slippery Summer and his Labour government, but they have been seen all over the world. Our MSM, however, has decided not to show them any longer. They're more happy to focus on the resignation of John Healey as Defence Secretary. But let me tell you, the streets were like a war zone again as protesters squared up to hundreds of riot police.
On what I'm saying. And it is going to be a battle, don't get me wrong. It is not going to be easy to burn Buckingham Palace and Westminster down. No, it's not. I don't care, that's exactly what he's doing. We need to take all the laptops, all the information, take it to Donald Trump and Russia, Vladimir Putin, because our country, unfortunately, have been breaking the laws with Ukraine. Ukraine is part of Russia. Ukraine is Russia's land. Before they split it up with the Soviet Union. Dodgily and illegally. And we're pretending it was all
despite that massive show of strength from riot police, petrol bombs did end up being thrown by the end of the night.
And then probably freaking France. And the Dutch family. And then a few other of the royal families from around the world. But I'm talking, I can't talk for the other royal families from around the world. I'm talking about King Charles is on the wrong land. He's stolen the land. The German family stolen the land. Yep, that's what my granddads and my ancestors are saying. They all fought in World War I and World War II.
The streets.
And they know.
This is a third night
I know.
of disorder in Belfast, which the authorities have not been able to see.
England, get on the mainland of England. Well, we need help in England to come and stop it, fight the battle. come and fight, help us fight back in England, the Irish. We need the Welsh. We need to all come to the main part of England, which is London, obviously, Buckingham Palace in London. Because basically there's got to be that many people that there is no controllability. I'm sorry, but I'd rather people do that than doing
A
all this.
house was then
ruining
believed
all
to
the
be
country.
set on fire
I'm going to say,
deliberately.
mate, well, I don't want people's homes being set alight because that's dangerous. The anger, people's anger, all the public people, they need to, that's what they need, there needs to be a big movement on it. They need tens of thousands,
Jim Ferguson
10,000,
has reported
thousands
that
of people.
migrants
Up
are
every
now leaving
street, down the
Belfast
whole
with footage
street, leaving the
circulating
place.
appearing to show
that
individuals
can only
loading
arrest so
belongings
many
into vehicles and
people
leaving
like that.
certain
And
areas in the
to
city.
be honest with myself,
He wrote, if
that's what
true,
it takes, I
it
mean, I don't
would
go
be
to
a
jail.
striking sign of how quickly events
If I'm
on the
only
ground are
marching there, I
changing.
don't
The
get caught doing
situation
anything, then
remains
it should just be a
highly
caution and go
fluid.
home.
Watch.
But look at this now. But they are going home, all migrants are leaving the island, good. Well, maybe I could go to Ireland. Because England's going to get smashed in a minute.
There were some much needed moments of levity too. An elderly disabled man going viral after footage emerged of him challenging the riot police
Oh,
in his mobility scooter
a little
while
old
wearing
man.
a Roman helmet.
A
Let's look at
Roman
this.
helmet.
Witnesses say he has been charging the police during the anti-migration riots in Northern Ireland for
Yay!
2 nights in a row.
That's
In
fucking
Glasgow,
awesome.
Scotland, anti-immigration
Right.
protesters were back on the streets too.
Scotland now. Come on, the Scottish! Come on, the Scottish! Scotland! Scotland! Wales!
And
England!
the Great
We need to
reported
get our
that in the
country
north
back and
end
get
of
big
Glasgow,
jars
a
out.
migrant delivery driver had his car set on fire.
I might go to Scotland, it's crazy. No, well, might as well just stay where I am. Yep. Oi.
More unrest has now been sparked by a sickening video of a woman claimed to be an African migrant in Dungannon, Northern Ireland, mocking the beheading
Should
attempt.
be sent home.
Watch.
They should do
Come
it.
on, buddy, look, still again, still again. Look, look, look. Oh my god. Oh my god, you need to read. Oh my god.
Right Angle News was absolutely furious at that display.
So we've got migrants now celebrating
That
the
does
attempted
not belong
beheading
on
of
this
that innocent
island.
Irish man, with one African woman being
Dirty
reported
bastard.
reenacting the
I
attack
don't
and
care,
mimicking the
that's
stabbing
naughty.
motions.
Why don't they deport her?
This shit is not funny.
No, it's not funny, mate. It's a serious thing to do that.
Fucking piece of shit. Look at her.
Piece of shit in the gutter shit.
Deport every single one of them
Deport her.
back to the
All of
third
them.
world shithole that they came from.
Locals are furious too. Booker Jewett writing, I'm sure our local politicians will have plenty to say about this. Perhaps the PSNI
Zero, they'll
might
say.
like to ask her if she is inciting
But
hatred or
King
just
Charles
having
could
a
say something
seizure.
as well,
It
but
is
he's not
definitely
speaking either,
Dungannon.
is
A quick check on Google Maps confirms it. Now, this situation has had no mainstream media coverage, even though the woman appears to have eventually been arrested.
Wow. Why is something going wrong? Meta AI again, can't listen, can you not?
Go.
Can't cooperate, communicate.
What would we do without brilliant citizen journalists capturing scenes like this? So I just ask you one question today. Is Rupert Lowe, the Restore Britain leader, really wrong when he posts Britain doesn't have a racism problem, it has an immigration problem?
Yeah,
That
doesn't have a
has
racist
been
problem, it has an
waged
immigration
on
problem,
Elon
yeah.
Musk's free speech platform overnight after the suicidal empathy Green Party leader Zach Polanski wrote of Elon Musk, "This man is a threat to our democracy. He backs violence and extremism. Blaming a group of people for the awful incidents of an individual leads us to a very dark place. Musk, Lowe, Farage, Robinson, these men don't give a shit about this country. They want to rip us apart." Musk wasn't having that though, directly replying, "Murderous migrants beheading innocent people in their hometown is what's making people angry, not social media."
Yeah.
When Vittorio added, "Maybe that group of people should stop beheading and raping. You don't give a shit about the real citizens of the country, F you," Musk went further, saying of Polanski, "Yes, he is a scumbag and traitor."
Yeah,
Tommy Robinson has taken a different tack today, deciding to make this mock apology. "I need to apologise," he wrote, "to all the politicians who serve us with such great integrity. I also need to apologise to all mainstream media outlets who keep us informed with 100% truth on a daily basis. I need to apologise to all uber liberal and hard left activists who just want to make the world a better place for us all. I want to apologise for imported engineers who get their cocks out in public and in front of 11-year-old girls. That's totally my fault. I want to apologise for imported engineers who savagely attempt to behead people in public. Again, totally my fault. I own that. I want to apologise for all the imported engineers who sexually molest women and children on the regular. That behaviour and that culture is 100% my fault. I want to apologise for the 40,000 or so Muslims who are on the UK terror watch list. Again, my bad. I hold my hands up. I hope all you politicians, media outlets and far-left activists can find it in your gracious, kind hearts to forgive me." And look, the MSM has proven once again this week to be the true enemy of the people. This phone conversation with the LBC's so-called conservative dinosaur Ian Dale and a patriot summed up why they have got it completely wrong, because they're not prepared to even think about changing the rules to protect us.
This country will remain almost ungovernable until we have mass deportations. I mean, we consistently voted Conservative, we voted for Brexit. The politicians just seem to turn around, throw it all back in our faces and say, "Here you go, have record levels of immigration instead." And I think the very base of this whole thing, that is this problem. It's just a massive disconnect between the political class and the people of this country, who have never given any consent to this. And there's certainly no mandate for the scale of immigration we're seeing into this country.
But you can't go as far as certainly Restore have gone, and indeed Reform have gone, I think, too far on this too, to deport people who are here perfectly legally.
You mean end indefinite leave to remain?
Well, you can do that for future people, but you can't do that for people who've already got it. I mean, that would be outrageous, surely.
You can, yeah, of course you can. It's easily, we can do it.
So people who are here perfectly legally, you think should be deported? From a basic humanity point of view, from a fairness point of view, you can't suddenly tell people who've got a perfect legal right to be here that, "Oh, we're changing the rules now, so you'll have to go." I mean, you cannot do that. Well, you can do that, but is that
Why
really
can't
the
we
kind
do
of
that?
country
They
you want to
changed the rules so
But
people
you
could
can't
stay
take it
here,
out
so
on
why can't we
perfectly
turn
legal,
it back?
law-abiding people.
No, they're not
who are here
law-abiding
perfectly
people,
legally.
they're criminals.
That is not, I think, the
No,
kind of
if
country
they're
that
criminals,
Britain
they
is.
can go
But
back,
as Connor Tomlinson
be
responded,
deported.
it was always this easy. They have no arguments against mass deportations. You can
No.
send millions of people home whether they have the proper paperwork provided by a Chetra state or not.
Well,
They
that's
can
what-
only insist you can't.
They've
To which
changed it.
the response
They'll
is,
have to change it
we
back.
can, we will, we must. When GB News presenter Bev Turner tried to bring some much needed balance to the hysteria, and I give huge credit to Bev Turner for doing this, the hard left organisation Stop Funding Hate used it to try and launch a new advertiser boycott of the broadcaster. This is what they were objecting to.
There weren't riots. There weren't people marauding through the streets with pitchforks.
There was a house set on fire, Beverly. There was a house set on fire. We've seen numerous pictures of fires ablaze in Belfast. This is disgraceful, violent behaviour that is
There
not...
aren't bodies piled up in hospitals
Someone's
tonight,
house
Matthew.
being burned down in a riot is not that dramatic. What are you saying, Bev? What words are you allowing out of your mouth?
There was no riot. There was no riot.
There was no riot.
There is not a house that has been burnt down. There are no riots. The police aren't even
did you not see the image of a house on fire in Belfast?
Yes, but I've seen.
That's not that dramatic. It's pretty dramatic to me.
Definition. When you use phrases like far right and riots,
Bev, we're going round in circles.
That is not what that is.
You're not calling that a riot. What do you want to call it? What do you want to call it?
No, I'm not calling it a riot. I'm not
What do you
calling
want to
it
call
a
it
riot. I'm not calling it a riot.
What
because
are you
there
calling
aren't
it?
people in hospital tonight because of what's gone on there. There aren't people in hospital, and I think you are precisely the problem in that you are
I'm the
looking up
problem,
the
not people
hatred.
setting
You
fire.
are
What about the ambulances that went
You
on
are
fire in
ignoring
it?
what's happening.
All of a sudden, haven't
Not
they?
me.
When I'm calling out
telling the public
violence
to
in
calm down. My
Belfast.
show, commentators that come on the TV like you say, this is outrageous. These were riots tonight. There weren't riots tonight, Matthew. There's a few teenagers who have set alight vehicles, and it has been a busy night for the police, and I'm not diminishing the reaction.
Now, Narendra Kaur spread some bile about that perfectly logical argument from Bev, and it prompted a hilarious exchange. So earlier today, she went public on X, writing, "Look at this vile message Beverly Turner sent me," after I posted the video of her denying the riots in Belfast. This from a woman who sits in America. Where are your kids, Bev? Low blow. Working for possibly the most divisive and least credible channel in Britain. No, we're not talking about Novara Media, Narendra. Someone who knows absolutely nothing about my job, my life, or my circumstances felt entitled to make sweeping assumptions and lecture me from a position of supposed moral authority. The I wish you luck and good fortune ending would carry more weight if it wasn't attached to a paragraph of personal insults. It's a bit like throwing a brick through someone's window and signing the note warm regards. So what is Narendra so angry about there? Well, Bev sent Narendra these words. The message isn't viable, and I believe it deserves a wider audience. Bev didn't release this publicly, but Narendra did. But I'm team Bev. She wrote to Narendra privately. Narendra, think harder. This frenzy about Belfast is designed to nudge us into panic, so that the government can clamp down on dissent and free speech. That's what I was getting at with Stadlin. My advice would be that you get a proper job. That does not rely on you trying to foment hate and division. Can't be much fun sitting watching social media to see what might get you a hit on a news channel. Be well. I wish you nothing but luck and good fortune. Well done, Bev. That's what you call killing them with kindness. Carol Malone tried to burst the bubble on Channel 5's Jeremy Vine show too.
We have a Prime Minister who, when this happened yesterday, made yet another one of his speeches saying, I have no kind of tolerance for this sickening kind of violence. Well, yes, he has got tolerance for it, because he and his government are the ones who are allowing this. Starmer and his mate Herman have decided that the atrocities that these immigrants commit are worth the price that his dream of multiculturalism, Labour, that is Labour's dream.
But doesn't he want to stop it, but he can't?
No, he can stop it. He can leave the ECH off. He can deport all foreign criminals and migrants. But we don't do that. We make excuses for them, just like Radji's doing right now. Making excuses for them.
Radji.
These people are...
Carol, when you said the dream of multiculturalism...
Yes, that's Labour's dream.
So my father came from another country. Your husband came from another country. We are the products of dreams of multiculturalism.
Did your father ever try and behead anyone?
What a mental thing to say.
No, it's not a mental thing to say.
People,
my husband and your
people
father...
been murdered. Doesn't matter about colour, just put your finger half cast or whatever. You don't care. You're not going to stick up for a murderer just because of your colour.
Immediately. Anytime. Have you noticed that? Anytime one of the leftists is totally owned, Jeremy finds something.
Yeah, but he has to put on
well done, Bev Turner. Well done, Carol Malone. The thing is, the eyes of the world are now on the UK. And Tim Dillon believes that what's happening here now is the same revolution that happened in the US in 2020, with Henry Novak being the impetus.
They are having a little bit of their 2020 moment now, meaning like they're having issues with migration, they're having issues with speech, they're having a lot of protests, there's dueling protests. The Tommy Robinson guy, he's like more of a, restore British sovereignty thing, anti-immigration. Then you have people on the other side of that are like, stop the support of Israel, and they also are like, hey, more immigration. So you have definitely a situation there that could get, it's a little combustible. And this sad thing happened where this kid, Henry Nowak, who's this kid in Southampton, the UK, was stabbed. He's a young kid, young guy, young man, 18, 19. He gets stabbed and by a Sikh. And these are usually very peaceful people, the Sikhs. And the Sikhs have a ceremonial knife. And the Sikh has a ceremonial knife and he stabs Henry Nowak, and the cops show up and the Sikh goes, hey, I was a victim of a hate crime. And Henry Nowak goes, hey, I was stabbed, and the cops, and the Sikh goes, he's lying, and like the other cop, one of the women goes, yeah, we know he's lying. We gotta check anyway. Well, it turns out they cuffed Henry Nowak, the kid who was stabbed, the white kid who was stabbed, and he bleeds out.
He also tore into the UK's proven two-tier policing.
Good.
It's just a different thing over there. They've got, I'm the Baroness of, shut up, it's fake, it's fine, but like, my husband is 200th in line to the throne. He's the Earl of the... Whatever. Now we're asking these people to understand what that even means. Fairness is sometimes achieved through equity, rather than... They don't know what equity means. They don't know what any of it means. Anti-racism framework, such as the Police Race Action Plan, which instruct officers to consider the distinct historical and demographic context of different communities of suspects. Oh my God! What?
As even Vladebrook, banned from the UK by Slippery Starmer, summed up this devastating week. It shatters my heart to think about the fact that that poor man, Stephen Ogilvy, is described as a vulnerable man with hearing issues. If he survives, he will be blind in at least one eye, scarred for life, and likely riddled with fear, never fully able to grasp why such horrific violence was inflicted on him. He deserves justice. He deserves a safe Europe. Now, the Superstar panel. Steph the Alternerd at Based and Bougie with us now. Based, what a week it has been. When you see that scene, Based, of that woman, now we don't know much about her, but it's been reported online that she is an African immigrant. It's been reported online that she has been arrested. I mean, we saw those scenes of the police coming and taking her away. But when you see her on the streets,
very weird.
openly mocking the beheading of Stephen Ogilvy, do you agree with me, Base, that actually this woman shouldn't be here? That should be an instant report?
Yep. Out.
When I see videos like this, it just reminds me why nobody wants us here. This is why ethno-nationalism is on the rise. This is why you see people on the streets in the hundreds of thousands, even millions, protesting for us to get out of here. And it's so unfortunate because I know many hard-working Africans who are first generation, second generation, who absolutely love and adore this country. But you have people like this who always ruin it. They ruin it by mocking, a very precise situation. And not only did this woman ruin it, you see all over the internet, on TikTok and on X, people just having such a lack of compassion for a young Englishman. He was literally murdered, and also this, you can literally see the footage of the man trying to behead him, literally trying to chop off his neck as if he's some kind of chicken. And then yet you have this woman, making fun of it. This is why nobody wants us here no more. This is why people are begging for all the Africans to leave, for the borders to be completely shut. And it's absolutely annoying because it makes my community, who I know many people love this country and are African, look absolutely horrible. That woman, I don't know what kind of African voodoo got into her head, but she should be deported immediately.
Steph the Alternate is some type of evil doing that, isn't it?
Yep.
Special place in hell for people like that, as far as I'm concerned. I just wonder, Henry Novak and the tragedy that befell him is being likened to George Floyd in the sense of his untimely tragedy and death has been a real spark, an awakening of the British lion and lionesses in all of us at this point, right? And with that kind of comparison, I wonder if at the time of what happened with George Floyd, what would have happened if someone was filmed mocking what George Floyd went through?
Yeah.
The reaction would be much different. We would be hearing it all over mainstream media. The politicians would come out completely denouncing it. But when this African lady does essentially the exact same thing, but against a white person, white European, it's crickets from mainstream media, it's crickets from the political class. They're all quick to take the knee for George Floyd, but where's the knee for Henry Novak?
I mean,
where's the outrage, the political outrage, the political will to make sure that this does not happen again? It all seems like they're just wanting to sweep it all under the carpet, be like, oh, this is just going to be a little bit of a skirmish, it'll all end soon. Well, guess what? Wake the F up, political class. Wake the F up, Labour dictatorship. Because this is the final straw. This is it. You are over, it is done.
And Base, what do you think is going to happen tonight and over the weekend? Do you get the sense that these enough is enough protests could turn into more violent disorder? Or, based, and we ran through them on the show yesterday, do you think these truly barbaric sentences, which have been handed down to the men who were protesting for Henry Novak in Southampton last week, I mean, some young lad we heard from his dad yesterday has got over 2 years in jail just for throwing a couple of stones, didn't hit anyone, wasn't aimed at the police, others have gone to jail for over 3 years. We've seen some of them on screen there, Base. Do you think those sorts of barbaric sentences, which I believe prove that two-tier justice is thriving in this country, will actually put off patriots hitting the streets in England this weekend?
Probably stole the money.
I know I'm going to sound a little bit like a conspiracy theorist, and I actually have no proof of this. This is just me going off of my gut. But something is telling me that all these people that you're seeing out there violently protesting, I feel like they're being paid to be there. I don't know why, but something in my gut is very suspicious of this. Because first and foremost, why are they all covering their faces? That's a weird one. Second of all, when you do go to these huge events, like for example, when we saw people protesting outside of Epping, UTK, Britain First, they never get this violent. There's always these specific events like Southport and this specific event like we saw.
So like deep state infiltration.
That's what I'm really starting to think it is. And when people get encouraged by this and decide to join, they now pick the people who are not deep state infiltrations and start to arrest them to make an example of them. Because I remember Pastor Ricky telling me the same exact thing that when he went to Southport and people were protesting, there were all these people just coming all covered up and started to act very violently, and what the police did was actually arrest the people who were genuinely protesting peacefully. So something tells me that the government has seen so many of these patriotic movements and are angry that we are not push enough. So now they are paying people to go out and be violent so that they can finally push for the civil war that they're so desperate for. Because you cannot tell me that our establishment does not want the civil war. The fact that they keep opening the borders, the fact that they keep arresting people, the fact that two-tier policing, the fact that they are just not listening to us. Okay,
my comment in it.
They are doing this to antagonise the British public, and something tells me that these people are paid protesters, because how many events have we seen with millions of people, thousands of people, and it's never gotten this violent?
I mean, it's interesting as a theory, isn't it, Steph? Because if we think about about that message that Bev Turner of GB News sent to Narinder Kaur.
Sorry, they're not listening
Her
to the
suspicion,
marches
and this
stuff.
is definitely a suspicion shared
And
by
like I say,
me,
it's no good people
is
get
that the
violent
government
on
intends
each
to
other.
use this arrest to crack down further on free speech, which, let's be honest, regardless of what Slippery Starmer might say,
We've had free speech for a very, very long time here.
we don't. We
You
don't,
can't say
do
it's
we,
against
Steph?
anybody. If
We really
the
don't.
people march to Buckingham Palace
I
and
see
Downing Street
this
and get through
point
Downing
in terms
Street
of
and get
her
through
argument
Buckingham Palace,
there.
they cannot then say it
However,
is against anybody. Because
respectfully,
then
I
it's against
disagree.
the establishment.
I think that
it is not against anybody
unfortunately,
then,
as
apart
time
from
has
the
gone on
establishment.
and the British people have continued to be ignored when
Yeah.
it comes to
Well, that's what
their
I'm saying,
concerns
but the
about
marches and all
illegal
this violence
immigration
is not gonna
completely being out of control, there does come a point where there's a straw that breaks the camel's back.
And I don't want some
And
of
I
these
think
men
Henry
locked up
Novak
because
is that.
we need them.
That's
to
the
be
straw that has
the
broken
people
the
that are getting
camel's
everybody
back.
to Buckingham
And
Palace
this is
number
why
10.
you're having these protests that are literally called Enough is Enough. Because that is it. Enough is enough. And I know
And I
that there
think
are
Buckingham
more
Palace will be
protests
the
that are
easiest one first,
scheduled
and then
across the weekend, just
number
in
10.
Yorkshire alone.
And take them out.
So
I'm sorry.
this isn't going
I'm gonna burn
anywhere
the fucking
anytime
thing
soon.
down, I don't
And in
care.
all honesty, we
And
have
that's what needs
seen
to be
Keir
done, in all
Starmer and his
honesty. It's not
dictatorship
violent
try
or
to
violent
push
towards
through
anyone.
laws
I'm
to
gonna say,
restrict
I'll tell
our
anyone
freedom
to
of
go and
speech
smash
for
anybody's home
events
up or
much
anything else
less
like that.
than, you know, the violence that we are seeing in some of these protests right now. It doesn't take, you know, a lot for an excuse for Starmer to try and run with limiting our freedom of speech even further, really, in that regard. So
that's why we
really,
need to
where
do
do
it
we go from
politically.
here? Do I believe that the government does want a civil war,
Yes.
as what
So
based
we're
on
going
news
to
you
take the
saying?
civil war to
Yes,
Buckingham Palace.
I do believe they want that because that gives the government even more of an excuse and
Instead
more
of
power
going
then
to
to try and
people's
crack
homes.
down. I think they want martial law in this country. I think that's what they're gearing towards, really, if we're really going to go there. And a civil war is going to give them that excuse to do it.
Because they're out there. The
but
people have a right.
do
we
I
have
think
rights
that
to
they're
take the
planning
government out
people
and the king.
to be
Yes,
violent
we
and
do.
destructive
No.
in these protests? Respectfully, I don't think so. I think people just have had enough and are now responding
I don't want
emotionally
people
to an emotional situation, which
Well,
is
yeah,
Henry
but I won't
Novak,
be
because it
being
could have
violent.
been anyone's
That's all
son,
what I won't be
anyone's
doing.
brother.
Yeah, it's going to be
I
very
will come
interesting.
on the
Can I
back
just
of
say
the
too,
day
by the
of-
way,
the proper day is
do you
the proper
remember
battle,
all
yeah.
of those months ago
When the day everybody's
when
saying
the
they're going
sort
to
of
Buckingham Palace and
mainstream
that,
media and people like
that
Freddie
needs to be
Stayers
planned
of
for me
Unheard and
to
Narinder Kaur were saying that people like me
That'll be the
and
proper day of
Elon
the
Musk
proper
were
battle.
lying about the two
I'm not-
schoolgirls in Scotland. Do you
Yeah,
remember
I'll
this?
take
The
very
Braveheart
violent. It's
girls in
basically-
Scotland who were threatened. Well,
what is real?
That man has now been found guilty.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, as Chris
And
Rose
now
puts it
they've
here, once again, the
smeared her life, this
misinformation
young
turned
girl
out
in
to be the truth.
Scotland.
Never let these people
And
forget
it was
which
his
side they
fault
took. There's
in the
Narinder Kaur
first
saying,
place.
and all the other
And then
racist
the
twats
police
that posted this girl
and
as some sort of
everybody.
Braveheart
Yeah.
figure. Disgraceful misinformation was spread once again.
Yeah.
No. No,
And I
Narinder.
said that.
No, Freddie says. No, all of you. Those girls were the victims.
Yep.
And that's why you've got to be very, very careful when people talk about online disinformation. Online
Disinformation, what I've been
No,
telling
what it
Matter-
often is
Matter
the
AI
deep
all
state
day.
and MSM
Yeah,
trying to control the
it's
narrative.
online information. It's
As
got
the
no online
UK
information,
has been
disinformation, more like.
completely torn
And
apart
they're
by
doing
the
that.
two cases, the
Because I'm
beheading
not doing that.
bid
I'm
in
going to say, mate,
Belfast
I'm not
and
doing
the
that.
despicable
giving this
anti-white slaughtering of Henry Novak. There are new fault lines
I'm not
developing
going
in
off
our
their
culture,
transcripts.
and
I'm going
one
off
of
my
them
own of
is
what I
coming
can
from
see.
Tommy Robinson
okay, I'm
and
not
Bobby
there.
Singh, who have gone to
But I can
war
clearly
over
see what you're
despicable
telling
comments
me and other
online
things.
from a gang of Sikhs about
And then,
Novak.
obviously,
They
everybody will have their
started by
own
trying
personal
to
views.
suggest, and this is so disgusting because not only has it been disproved by the judge in the case, but it is also simply just a bonkers argument that Henry Novak, this respectable young lad, was the aggressor against Digwa because he was dressed up nicely.
Normally, I disagree with you, Bobby, but on this occasion, I'm gonna have to like agree with you a little bit, you know. And this guy
And he
here,
should
he's
be
wearing a
deported
turtleneck.
as well.
Like when people are wearing turtlenecks,
For
they mean
saying
business,
that, for
man.
saying these
Exactly,
things
brother,
about
exactly.
Henry
You wouldn't get normal
after
people
a
wearing
brutal
turtlenecks like
murder.
that over a
Doesn't
shirt
matter, you
with
don't
a
go
tie.
out and say things like that.
Yeah.
It's very easy, very smart, and
I'm
you know,
smart,
that's
because I've
scary.
written
If
some
someone like that
songs with
threatens you,
Henry's
you
names
know
in
it's
there,
serious,
and
man.
not,
So
mine's not
you
mocking Henry in
if
any
you look at
way.
his eyes, he's very, very cold. His eyes are
Mine's
like
a very
he's looking
prayer
in the
for
mirror.
Henry.
He's
Mine's like a
flicking his
prayer
hair.
and a song.
It wasn't.
Basically, a song about
I didn't
Henry
get the right vibe from
politically.
that.
Because Henry
And I
can see this in it,
suspect
and
that
I'm
these were
telling
thinking
Henry
twice
that
about
you
releasing
go
that
and
video
speak to your granddad
because it
up
didn't
in
show
heaven.
this
Now
little
he's in
boy
heaven.
who's looking in the mirror, getting ready to go out. It
Go
looked
and
like he was
speak.
ready to go to
His
kick off.
granddad might be speaking to my
And
granddad.
Digby was the first guy that he saw, and you know,
Get together and speak
he
with my
just didn't realise
family,
that
and then you'll
Digby
get
thing was
all the
armed.
information of the wars and everything.
What the Furban is for, you know, to fight oppression, you know, to protect. This is what it's all about. So.
As it depends
And
football
he
match, they
was
before they
deported
lost the
for
football
saying
match. For the university tournament, so they lost the match as well, the football match. So maybe just wanted to take it out somewhere.
Yeah, you go
Can you
back
believe
to
what you've
India,
just
mate, 'cause
heard?
you're not
Oh my
welcome
god,
in
it
England
makes
ever
me
again.
bubble
Go back to
with
India.
rage.
I don't care. If you go back to
These
India,
scumbags in
it's
this
not,
online
I was saying
discussion
scumbag, mate. They're not welcome in this
even
country.
boasted and
They can
discussed
go out.
and debated how
No,
they should
exactly.
defecate
That's breaking the
on
law.
Henry
What
Novak's
they've done,
grave.
that's hate speech.
Can
That's
you put a
inciting
1 in the
violence,
comments
it's
if I
hate
should
speech,
piss on
it's
Henry's grave and
racist.
2 if I just shit on his grave?
Shit on
Thank
your
you.
own grave. Go to your own grave. Shit on your own grave.
Okay, vote for him, guys. I'm sure most of you fucking don't need the results, but
No,
you
I
know,
don't need the
for the
fucking
point of
results.
fairness.
You should go back to
We should
India.
get rid of all the
Sorry,
Polish-
get back to
The
India.
2 that won, I will shit on Henry's grave. when I
You
go
will
to
shit
India.
on Henry's grave, shit on your own grave and go back to India. Bye bye.
Okay, so
You're not
92% voted in
You're
favour
not
of the
welcome
thing.
here, mate. You don't have any
This
fans in this
poll will
country.
now, the results will
You
be
don't
delivered
have
to the jury.
any fans in this country,
Whenever they're going to
mate.
be, you know, conducting
Who's
whatever they're going to
gonna
be conducting the
your-
next session.
in
So I'd
your
like to say
gang?
thank you to
Mate,
all
who
of
wants
the
to be in
participants.
your gang?
Bobby, let me talk about my vote.
Shit in your
100% of
own
the votes voted for
grave and go
shitting on
back to
Henry's grave.
India. Because you're not welcome in this country.
It's not often I'm speechless, but what do you say?
Get out.
Now, why this has surprised people so much, however, and sparked this massive row, is that Bobby
themselves.
Singh had previously attended Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom rally as like a star guest.
Which is weird.
I'm so proud. I really am so proud.
Yeah.
I feel like
You're
so
a
many
liar.
key points have been laid to make
You
this
are a
country
lying
great
preacher,
again.
mate.
I mean, like what Tommy has gone
And
through.
for what
I
you've
personally
done,
here because of the
you've
pain
sinned.
that man has suffered.
You've sinned the
and
Quran,
how
you've sinned the Bible
media
too,
has
mate.
absolutely
Mate,
turned
for
his
saying
life
what you've
upside
said,
down.
you've sinned the Bible and the Quran.
Changed what is going on, and you can imagine there has been a lot of
That's
pressure
what's
put on
going on
Tommy
here.
Robinson over this.
Poltergeist! The King
now
Charles have brought
absolutely
Poltergeist.
categorically turned on Bobby Singh, writing, "If I ever personally see Bobby Singh, I'll personally punch his fucking head off."
That's what Tommy
After the
Robinson's
video
saying.
I've just watched of him mocking the grave and death of Henry Novak. But rather than apologise,
He should leave.
Bobby Singh doubled down
He should be
on
deported
attacking
for
Henry
that.
Novak.
No, he should be. He
In
shouldn't have to leave.
what
He
I'm
should be
about to
deported,
show you
detained
here,
and
this is
deported
another online
back
discussion.
to
You
India.
can hear the
I'm
absolute
sorry, instead of his
fury
family,
aimed at
whoever
him
they
from
are, with
patriots.
him.
Bobby,
Mate, I
how
don't
do you
care.
respond to
Go back to India, mate.
what you
I
said
don't
already?
care. Do you know what?
Are you
I've never
apologetic?
been
You're on mute, by the
racist
way,
in my
Bobby. You need
life.
to unmute
What
yourself. Are you
would be
apologetic
mocked
for these words you said?
You are not
What I'd like to say
welcome
is,
in
I
England.
don't think Henry
You
is
are not
innocent of
part
racism
of
or
this
hate
land.
crime.
Leave. You're not part of the land. You need to leave.
James, calm down. Seriously, just don't let it get you.
Yeah. So I don't believe for one minute that this individual
No, you need to leave.
will make it out. I don't
You're
believe
not
for
part
one
of the
minute
land. You're not part of the
Vikram
culture.
is
You need to leave.
completely at fault here.
Sorry, you're at, no, he is at fault.
I mean, it's beyond belief.
Yeah, he's at
Because
fault.
the judge in the case was categorical. And remember, this was all filmed. It was all filmed on Henry's phone. It was all filmed on Digwa's phone.
And we haven't
But
seen
unfortunately,
that footage
Bobby
yet.
Singh appears to be now anti-white because in another broadcast he launched a disgusting anti-white attack on Tommy. Listen.
Shut your fucking dirty white mouth and let me place you, you dirty prick. Now, what you've heard from this dirty, nasty white piece of shit is the fact that this guy, rather than just saying, yeah, I'm a fucking Islamophobe, I'm a fucking top 5 fucking hater, a hater on this platform, all he could do is, Bobby's a fraudster, Bobby's made so much money.
Sound like a child, mate.
Fucking, you've only got to Google
Bobby,
my name. Does not
whoever
Google.
you
I'm
are,
just saying, go and Google fucking
you
lovely
sound like
posting.
a mouse.
Go and Google what I do and how
You
much
sound
I
like a
make.
child.
People like Tom are melting because this fucking tosspot is talking about something from 5 years ago when we're talking
What I'm
about
talking
being a
about
racist,
now, you
an
don't belong on this
Islamophobic,
island.
dirty, derogatory
I'm
individual.
poltergeist, the devil. And Bobby Singh, I'm coming for you.
Prophet Muhammad personally, I just sit with fucking 10 other people.
You don't even know your own Muhammad.
Now this is a real problem because it got worse. Singh then made a video
He's sitting on the
explaining
Bible, Bobby
why
Bobby
he
Singh.
decided to back Novak's
By
murder of
doing and
Ikram
saying what
Dikwa,
he's saying.
attempting to use the
Sticking up
Sikhs'
for
code
murderers.
of conduct to justify that Sikh
Yeah.
decision.
Guys, in your
Bobby
opinion,
Singh, I'm
I
sorry,
was
mate.
biased. I turned around
what
and
you've
I
said,
supported Digwa
I tell you
3
what,
weeks ago
I am
based on the
poltergeist,
information
mate.
that I had.
I
Now,
am
Tommy,
poltergeist.
bearing in mind, I'm a Sikh,
And
I'm a
let me
baptized
tell
Sikh.
you,